Don't let her eat alone tonight. She mistook him for her blind date, neither corrected the mistake. The message came at 7:42 that evening. Don't let her eat alone tonight. I stared at the words on my phone, completely confused. I had no idea who the woman was. But 20 minutes later, I walked into a quiet restaurant and saw her sitting alone at a table by the window. She looked at the door every few seconds, clearly waiting for someone. When she finally noticed me, her eyes widened. "You're late," she said softly. I should have corrected her. I should have told her she had mistaken me for someone else. Instead, I pulled out the chair and said, "I'm sorry. Traffic was terrible." That was the moment everything changed. My name is Daniel, and until that night, I had always believed that mistakes were things you fixed immediately. Apparently, I was wrong. The woman sitting across from me was named Emily. She wore a simple red dress, glasses, and the kind of expression that made you wonder what she was thinking even when she was smiling. She looked at me for a few seconds before saying, "I was beginning to think you weren't coming." "I almost didn't," I admitted. She smiled. "I'm glad you did." I felt a strange knot in my stomach. Because I knew something she didn't. I wasn't her blind date. I had received the message from an unknown number. Don't let her eat alone tonight. I assumed it was some kind of prank. But when I saw Emily sitting alone, something inside me told me to stay. So I did. A waiter brought us menus. Emily looked at hers and then at me. "You look different from your picture." I nearly choked on my water. "My picture?" She laughed. "Okay, that sounded rude." No. It's fine." I didn't know what else to say. She studied me. "You're quieter than I expected." "Maybe I'm nervous." That made her smile. "Me too." And somehow, that simple answer made everything easier. We talked. At first, about harmless things. Work. Movies. Food. The city. Then the conversation slowly became more personal. Emily told me she had stopped dating after a painful relationship. "He promised me forever," she said, staring at her glass. "And then? He chose someone else." I didn't know what to say. So I simply listened. She looked at me and smiled sadly. "You're a good listener." "I've had practice." "With women?" "With life." She laughed. It was the first time I saw her completely relax. Dinner arrived. And for the first time that evening, I forgot that I was pretending to be someone else. I was just enjoying being there. Then Emily asked the question I'd been dreading. "So, what made you agree to this blind date?" I froze. The truth was sitting right there between us. I could have told her everything. But before I could answer, my phone vibrated. Another message. "You're doing the right thing. Just stay." I stared at the screen. My heart started beating faster. Someone was watching us. I looked around the restaurant. Nothing seemed unusual. Then I noticed a man sitting near the entrance. He was staring at our table. The moment our eyes met, he looked away. I felt uneasy. Emily noticed. "What happened?" "Nothing." She followed my gaze. Then her face changed. "Do you know him?" "No." She looked back at the man. "I do." My stomach dropped. "Who is he?" Emily hesitated. "My ex." The man stood up. He started walking toward us. Emily immediately lowered her voice. "I don't want him here." I looked at her. "Do you want me to ask him to leave?" She shook her head. "No. Just don't leave me alone." Those words hit me harder than they should have. I reached across the table and gently placed my hand near hers. I'm not going anywhere. Her eyes softened. Her ex stopped a few feet away. Emily. She didn't answer. He looked at me. Who is this? Emily looked at me. Then she surprised both of us. My date. The man stared at us. You're already dating someone? Emily nodded. Yes. Her ex laughed bitterly. You moved on fast. Emily's voice became calm. I waited for you for 2 years. The restaurant suddenly felt silent. Then she continued. You don't get to be angry because I finally stopped waiting. The man looked at me. I expected him to say something insulting. Instead, he simply walked away. Emily watched him leave. Then she took a deep breath. I'm sorry. For what? For dragging you into this. You didn't. She looked down. You don't even know me. Maybe not. I smiled. But I know you shouldn't have to eat dinner alone because someone else hurt you. Her eyes filled with tears. For a moment, she said nothing. Then she whispered, Why are you being so kind to me? I couldn't answer. Because I didn't know myself. Maybe it was because I had spent years believing that people always left when things became difficult. Maybe it was because, somehow, sitting across from her felt strangely familiar. Or maybe it was because that mysterious message had brought me to her for a reason. We finished dinner. When the waiter brought the check, Emily reached for it. I'll pay half. You don't have to. Yes, I do. Why? Because I don't want you thinking I invited you just to rescue me. I smiled. You didn't. She looked at me. Then why did you come? I finally told her the truth. I received a message. Her smile disappeared. What message? I showed her my phone. She read it. Her face went completely pale. That's impossible. What? She stared at the number. I sent that message. I looked at her in disbelief. You? She nodded slowly. But I sent it to someone else. Who? My blind date. She pulled out her phone. Her hands were shaking. She showed me the contact. The number was almost identical to mine. One digit was different. She had accidentally sent the message to me. I laughed nervously. So this whole night happened because you typed one wrong number? Emily smiled through tears. Apparently. We stood outside the restaurant. The city lights reflected on the wet pavement. Neither of us moved. Then Emily said something I would remember forever. Maybe the wrong number wasn't wrong. I looked at her. What do you mean? She smiled. Maybe I was supposed to meet you. I wanted to tell her that I didn't believe in fate. But after that night, I wasn't so sure. I took a step closer. Emily. Yes? Would you let me take you out again? She smiled. This time, as yourself? I nodded. As myself. She laughed softly. Then yes. I walked her to her car. Before getting inside, she turned around. Daniel? Yeah. Thank you for not letting me eat alone tonight. I smiled. Thank you for sending the wrong message. She laughed. And that was how our first date ended. Not with fireworks. Not with some perfect romantic moment. Just two strangers standing under the city lights, realizing that sometimes life makes mistakes better than we ever could. Months later, Emily and I would tell that story at every dinner party. Everyone always asked the same question. Did you ever find out who the blind date was supposed to be? Emily would smile. Yes. And what happened to him? She'd look at me. He never showed up. Then she'd take my hand under the table. And I'd always say the same thing. He missed his chance. Because the truth was simple. Emily thought she had accidentally met the wrong man. I thought I had accidentally walked into someone else's date. But sometimes, the wrong door leads you exactly where you're supposed to be. And sometimes, the best love story begins with one little mistake.